2026 and time for your Monday Market Update. I'm Miranda Andrew.
And I'm Andrew Smart.
Thanks so much for watching. Let's take a quick look at our McHenry County numbers for the last 7 days.
All right, you guys. So for the last week, we saw 117 new listings, 130 go under contract, 124 closed, 53 price changes, 4 expired, and 61 hit that private network.
So we're the first Monday of the new month. So we have all of our data from last month for info on InfoSparks, which is our data collection through the MLS. So when we look at what is trending, we are seeing that sales price is up in all of the areas that we service. In Crystal Lake, for example, prices are up 6% year over year. So the average sales price in Crystal Lake right now is $423,000. This time last year, it was only $398,000. So prices are still going up consistently. If we look at some of the other data, we have the inventory. We have pretty much flat inventory. Some people have said, oh, it seems like there's more houses on the market. There's really not. For how many buyers are in the market, this is also called the absorption rate. We have 1.6 month supply in Crystal Lake right now. That's the same we had this time last year. And a fair and balanced market is 4 to 6 months inventory. We are nowhere near that. Still very much of a seller's market.
Absolutely.
We're seeing that when we're out showing properties.
Oh, totally.
In Crystal Lake, our percent last list closed. Now, the reason I look at this number is because what are the listing prices saying about what buyers are having to offer? We're still at 100%. So on average, now obviously there are some homes that are selling for a little less than list price, but the average is 100%. So buyers are looking at that list price and thinking, that's the price I've got to offer.
Yeah.
They're not really thinking that they're going to be able to offer anything below list price. They're really thinking, I've got to come in at full list price. And that's the same for Lake in the Hills, Cary, Algonquin. They're all right about at 100%. Lake in the Hills is at 100.2. Cary's at 100.3. So they're all right around the same price where homes are selling for their list price. Some are selling for slightly below. Some are selling for slightly more, but on average, it's still about 100%. And percent of original list price, meaning that they might have had to do a price reduction of some kind, is really only still at 99%. So we're not seeing homes having to come down in their prices very much.
Not at all.
And that's the same for all of the areas that we service. Now, interest rates play into this, of course. So Andrew, what is going on with our interest rates?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's been consistent the last month here. It's been, the same conversation we've had the last couple of weeks, and that's that interest rates have continued to rise a little bit here. Last week they were at 6.38. This week they're at 6.46 right now. It's the same story, like I said. It's the conflict in Iran. It's kind of a huge wild card right now. Obviously, there was an announcement made by Trump a couple nights ago. I forget the exact date it was, but we're kind of waiting. Yeah, we're kind of waiting to see the effects of that. Obviously, that has continued to cause inflation.
And he has a press conference today at 1, which will also kind of dictate how this is going to go as well.
Yeah, so things are still kind of completely up in the air, to be honest with you.
They're volatile. So we're seeing interest rates go up, go down. We're not sure. They've mostly gone up for the last couple of weeks. However, that could change at any point in time. We are seeing inflation go up, which of course the federal government is going to want to make sure that inflation doesn't go too high, because that will then cause a recession as well. So if we end up in a recession, that could actually bring our interest rates lower, which would be a helpful thing for our housing our housing industry. But the thing that I always want to talk about is, but let's, if you're looking at the national news, I know I always do research before we do this Monday Market Update. And if you're reading the news, we were listening to Housing Wire, we were looking at MBS Highway, we were looking at CNBC News, we're looking at Freddie Mac. So we're looking at all of these different data sources, and it would be really easy for us to be like, oh my gosh, mortgage applications are down very, very slightly, like what, 1% week over week?
3% week over week. They're actually up 1% year over year.
Oh, 1%. Okay. So you got to look at this as a whole thing. You can't just look at one little microscopic thing. So yes, interest rates are up slightly, but they're still lower than they were this time last year.
This is true,
The reason that we saw kind of a fury a couple of weeks ago with our housing market is also because we saw interest rates come slightly below 6%. When we see that happening, we're going to see a flood of activity.
100%.
So we are seeing more activity in our market locally. I will tell you, we had 3 contracts go through this weekend. A listing that we put live on Thursday already sold. We had 2 buyers that we put under contract. Both were in multiple offer situations. So we are still seeing a very lively housing market here in McHenry County. We are still seeing it be very competitive for our buyers. Our sellers are having to be aggressive with their prices, but when they're priced right, they're selling really quickly. So we still have a very, booming housing market here. It's April. I mean, this is April. April is always going to be our craziest month because it's largely dictated by the school year, and people want to put a house under contract now so that they can close in May, they can get moved in and get settled before the school year starts in August, which is starting earlier and earlier every year.
It's crazy.
I think this year the first day of school is August 12th. That's too early.
That is crazy.
August 12th. So kids have to get settled by like August 1st or they're going to be like all flustered.
Yeah.
So that's always going to drive our housing market. So April's still a great month. We're still seeing very low inventory. Even in our numbers, it was what 117 under contract or new listings and 130 under contract. I mean,
so we're still losing volume there.
Every month, every week, we're losing inventory. So it's still very competitive. Buyers, we've got strategies to help you, so don't get too discouraged. But sellers, it's still a great time to sell. So it's good to live in McHenry County. If you have any questions, as always, please reach out. We're here to help. Thanks, and have a great rest of your Monday. Bye-bye.